Yeah.
Right. Return. Good. Sir Knight, cover. Sir Knight, order, sword.
One thing I'd like to tell everybody before we get started, if you start feeling faint or anything, please go inside. The courthouse is open. There's water, it's cool, and restrooms if you need it. It's my pleasure to introduce the Grand Master of all Masons in Indiana, the most worshipful George A. Engel, Jr.
Thank you, Worshipful Master. It is our pleasure today to be a part of this ceremony of laying a cornerstone at your annex to your courthouse. It's an opportunity that doesn't happen too often anymore. In ancient times, by that I mean 200 years ago, there was a lot of cornerstones that was laid. And in fact, the White House, of course, the cornerstone was laid there by our brother George Washington. Today, though, is a special occasion because we're actually going to have a Mason who is a operative Mason as well as a speculative Mason lay the cornerstone. So with that and the heat that's here, and don't forget what the Worshipful Master said, anybody who's not feeling comfortable, you may not get to see it all, but that's okay, just as long as you wind up. They don't want you in the EMT truck, so don't start feeling comfortable. Get up, go into the courthouse and take care of yourself. You are number one. Take care of you. With that, we will begin our ceremony with the prologue from our grand lecture.
Sir Knight, read, cover.
Good afternoon.
Eric, sword.
The ceremony which is about to be performed, or one comparable to it, may be traced to the operative craftsmen of the Middle Ages who erected the noble structures and soaring cathedrals of Europe and the British Isles. Indeed, the laying or leveling of cornerstones with special ceremonies appears to be as old as the art of building, for the ritualistic placing of foundation stones and of enclosing a deposit as a memorial occurred in some of the most ancient civilizations. Oftentimes the question is asked, why are Freemasons, rather than other societies, invited to perform their traditional rites as the laying or rededicating a cornerstone of a public building? It is because modern Freemasonry is the custodian of the symbolic use of the builder's tools, arts, ceremonies, and traditions. Operative craftsmen viewed, squared, and laid the stones of those lofty edifices which have stood for centuries as endless anthems in praise of the Most High. Modern Freemasonry purpose is that of the builders: to construct and never destroy, to erect an intangible building of benevolent love and harmonious understanding. Because of its inherited forms and traditions, then, it is the organization most suitably equipped to conduct these rites. It has never assumed an exclusive right to level the corner, but whenever invited to perform such labor, it has done so with matchless symbolism and beauty. Traditionally, the cornerstone was a perfect cube with each side a perfect square. It was placed in the northeast corner, midway between the place of darkness and the place of light. Remembering that no man should ever enter upon any great or important undertaking without first invoking the blessings of deity, the Grand Chaplain addresses our supplications to the great architect of the universe, that the structure to be here erected may be planned with wisdom, supported by strength, and adorned in beauty. First, the stone is lowered into its place in the corner, thereby becoming the stone upon which rests the whole structure, physically and spiritually. As the Grand Master uses the trowel to spread the cement, which unites the building into one common mass, we see in that simple act the mighty truth that the cement of love, the overwhelming love of God for man and of man for man, can hold the human family together in unity if we will but permit it. The stone thus placed is tested with the familiar tools of the operative mason. With the square, the Deputy Grand Master tests the corners of the stone. With the level, the Senior Grand Warden tries the upper surface. And with the plumb, the Junior Grand Warden examines the sides. All this has been done before by skilled workmen. There is need for each individual constantly to measure his life alongside those standards of perfection set by level, reminding him that all men are brothers. The plumb which marks the upright man, and finally the test supreme. And all his actions will compare with the divine, the unerring square, the square's great virtues planned. Set in place and tested, the stone then is consecrated with the age-old elements of corn, wine, and oil. In ancient days, the grapes in the vineyard, the olives in the grove, and the grain of the field were not only wealth, but the measure of trade. Thus, when the craft received wages, corn, wine, and oil, they were paid in coin of the realm. Having laid the cornerstone and consecrated it to its high purpose, the Grand Master then returns to the architect the tools of an operative mason, with a prayer on his lips for the safety and guidance of the workmen, for the permanency of the structure, erected that resting on the strong foundation of our faith in God, it may be used for his honor and his glory.